I didn't get it.
Good. I wasn't sure if
Zevi, you got to get on the WhatsApp, Zevi.
Tiago, if I would have known, I would have prepared show and tell for you.
Oh, you're right, Taka. I forgot.
Zevi, I'll send it to you. Zevi.
You know what? We might hand it over to Elio. We might hand it over to him.
No, I gotta go. I looked. I have to go dig up a box in my closet somewhere.
The time he used to learn.
Yeah.
I love you, Icky.
It's a long daf tonight.
Not so long.
It's gonna be a hard daf.
What are you trying to say there, Zev? Huh?
Come on, Simon. Let's get moving.
I haven't seen you guys in 3 days. I need to get out of my system.
Yeah.
All right. One hack. Reb Zev, is Darche still going up to the country or not?
Only they're working on.
You don't have to answer. If it's a private zach, you don't have to answer.
I can answer. No, I can answer for what I know. Zevi can just tell me if I'm right or wrong. That way he doesn't get in trouble. The Beis Medrash is working on going. They don't know about the high school yet.
Well, the high school for Zechanat. The high school is got a permit as a bungalow colony.
They only have a permit as a bungalow colony.
Meaning, if they quarantine as a capsule for a month, they have to take a COVID test before they go in. They all took antibodies Wednesday, and then the day before they leave, they have to take COVID tests. And then they're locked.
But they have a permit to open up?
Yeah, their permit.
As a camp or as a bungalow colony?
As a bungalow.
So how do you, everybody's going to be
okay, because I'm family, they're putting them in like a capsule family. That's the
Yaakov, only for 18 and above.
Only 18 and above.
Oh boy, you know what that usually means, 18 and above. I don't know. What's going to be going on up there?
It's only men.
Mixed dancing.
Yaakov, so what's the hack, no?
No, I just wanted to know because I'm wondering my bungalow colony. I would like to go up there, but they're not turning on the water until they know that they're going to have permits. So I'm curious if people have permits, and maybe they'll also get a permit.
What did it say?
My brother went up to his summer home already.
No, summer homes are homes. They have. That's you know what I mean? They can't do anything about that. You own a home. You own a home. Yes. You're muted.
The time is the time is to Sullivan County is that the entire 80% of the people own homes there. They're coming up anyway, with or without you. You can't stop a person from coming to their home.
Right.
You could stop the pools. You could stop
the day camps.
The day camps. So Sullivan County is under a lot of pressure now.
Is it? Okay, good. I hope so. If they're smart, they just give it up because people are going up there already now because there's nothing going on in the city.
But there's a lot
they can have an extra month of income if they just use their brains.
There's a lot of anti-Semitism going on up there.
There's a lot of anti-Semitism.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's go. So let's chazer from yesterday. Daf Ayin Ches. When we're looking for amount, so we go with the more common use and the less common use. We go with the more common use lakula and the less common use. Then we said what's the common use of water, and then we're using blood for eye medications, right? Either a chicken's blood or a mole's blood. Definition of someone who hides things they're carrying on Shabbos. What a person will do with water that's not good, meaning what's it used for? So we use it to put it into mud. Then the Mishnah has a whole list of more measurements of items that you're allowed to carry outside, and then explanation of ropes, and then the amounts for paper, and then receipts for paying taxes and loans. Right, so basically the issue was there any point in somebody keeping his receipts, right? And if there's a point to keeping a receipt, so then you be chayav for carrying it because you have a reason for it. Okay, so the Gemara says we're on Ayin Tes Amud Aleph. 2 dots. It's around, 7 lines down from the bottom. Where's Marchuk? He's here? No Marchuk.
Where are we holding again?
Ayin Tes Amud Aleph, 2 dots, 7 lines down.
Thank you.
Okay, so Zogdi Gemara. Or Kedei Lasis, right? Kamiya. We said leather, it's enough to make a Kamiya. Bamine Rava Merav Nachman. So Rava asked the Shad from Nachman, Moitzi or Bekama, how much leather? Amalek the Tanan, or Kedei Lasis Kamiya. He said, we said in the Mishnah. What are you asking? He's saying, it says in the Mishnah, enough skin, leather, animal skin, to make a amulet. Hamavir Bekama, Amalei Loishna. To Hamavda, I'm sorry, Bekama, meaning if you, how much leather do you have to work over in order to be chayiv on ma'avid, which is tanning? Amalei Loishna doesn't make a difference. Lavdoi Bekama, right? So Amalei Loishna. So it's me'avdoi and la'avdoi, right? Depends if you are goyrus the brackets or not. Yeah. Either way, he's saying it's all the same measurement. And how do you know this? Kids, it's not only learned in the Mishnah. Malavin, if you're literally means the literal translation of malavin is to make it white, which means cleaning. Vamenafitz, and if you comb, vatzeve, and if you dye something, vatayve, and if you spin it, shiura kemalai roichev a sit kafel. The measurement is like the width of a sit doubled. Sit is between, Rashi says, it's between the finger and the middle finger. That amount, that's a sit. A sit kafel is two of these, if anybody's looking at the screen, right? It's double the space between the average person's finger and middle finger, right? So that would be the
thumb. It's not from
what?
the thumb. It's not from the thumb to the middle.
No, so from the thumb to the thing is basically that we'll see later on when we have this in about 30 blot from now. Is that some say that this measurement between the finger and the thumb is the equivalent of this, but the taich, the taich couple is this double.
If I remember, that's from 30 blot ago in the morning, right? That's where we are, right?
It wasn't 30 blot ago. Yes, it was before Corona. Oh, no, it was during Corona. Maybe it was during. Maybe we just learned it.
Right, that's why it's fresh in my head. That's
why it's fresh in your head. Yes.
Okay.
Then it's not like this.
I can't see. Hold on a second. Where are you? No, certainly not middle finger to the thumb. No, that's for sure not.
No?
It's either this finger to the thumb or this. As far as I know, I mean, maybe there's more shitas, but that's.
Zevi, you can ask your shver. He knows all about it.
Yes?
We just learned it in the morning call a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Maybe more than a few weeks ago. Right? Yeah, so what are we up to here?
Alright,
so and one who sews is two chutin together. The shear for that is kamalai reichav sit, not double, just one. Almak, even the Latvia koi shiur ketvi. So we say since it's about to be spun, so therefore the shear is the same thing as spinning hachanamik. Even the lavde koi, since you are going to take this leather, this animal skin, and make it and work it to make it into leather. Shiur kamovid, it's a shear kamovid, v'shaloi lavde bekama. And let's say you're not doing it. How much is that? Amarlei loishna. There's no difference. And there is no difference between using skin that's not going to be tanned to skin that is tanned. Right? If somebody is taking out samonim, right? Samonim is not drugs. Okay? Right? Somebody who takes out samon and shruyin, that means, I mean, I guess it comes from there, the word drugs, herbs that are going to be soaked, right? It's only if you're going to have enough. A dugma is a sample, like a sample le'ira, right? For an ira, how do you know how you touch that? That's for the guy that takes the, I don't know, what's the name? The big needle that you're going to put it through for to weave. So again, so herbs that are soaked, it has one measurement. And for someone that are not shari, we learn right? The peels of walnuts and the peels of pomegranates, satis upua. Satis is also some sort of spice, pua, The amount that the dye that you're going to need is enough to dye a piece of clothing, right? Which we had that. I don't know. Does anybody remember that? A svacha. We had that way back from the women's. What do you call it? The women's jewelry parak. What they're allowed to go out with, what they're not allowed to go out with, right? So whatever it is, you see that there's seemingly two different things, and it's two different measurements. So you say, and we just got finished saying that as long as you're doing ibud, not ibud, it's going to be the same measurement. So what it says, no, we learned this. A person will not work so hard. We had this klal about last blot. A person's not going to work so hard to dye that small amount of cloth, right? But for tanning, a person will do that much. So therefore, it's going to be the same. So then the Gemara says, gina. What do you say? Anybody say anything? Gina, seeds of a garden, the makami de zerina, before they're planted. Now we learn zerina gina pachas mikagregers. The seeds of a gina, in order to be chayav to carrying out, is less than a gregers, which is a dried fig. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira chamisha. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says no, it's five seeds. 5 seeds is actually less than a gregers, which makes sense. A gregers is a dried fig that's quite, I don't know if it's large, but it's certainly 5 seeds is less than that. That's before you plant the seeds. That's what you would be chayav on. And if it's after you plant tnan, zevel b'chol hadek, right? Zevel is parrots. Would you like to touch zevel? Okay.
No, not at all. Not while we're recording.
Okay. Okay. Zevel is dung, I guess, right? B'chol hadek, and very thin sand. K'dei lazabel by kelach shel kruv. It's in order to fertilize a stalk of kruv, which is a vegetable. It's in order to enough to be mezavel krisha, right? So you see clearly that the seeds, when they're seeds and when they're grown already, it's 2 different measurements. Yeah. So one is talking about where it was planted, one is talking about where it was not planted. The fish ain't adam because a person's never gonna go make a tircha to take 1 seed and plant one seed. That's not enough. Saying what says tit the makami de ligbele Tanya, right? This we had yesterday. Mud that before you not grind it, before you mix it. What do you want to say, Gershon? What are you saying? Mix it. Right, so Tanya Maidim Chacham Reb Shimon Maitzi Shaykh just around Shiurim Beravias, that the Chacham Maidim Reb Shimon, where you take out spilled water, meaning dirty water, to Rosh Hashanah, that the shear is a Revias. What are you doing with water that's dirty? What is it fitting to do that you'd be chayav for carrying it out, right? In order to, like, again, with the same rule that we've been saying, you can only be chayav for carrying outside in Rosh Hashanah if there's something to it. So what are you doing with water that's dirty? So what you're going to do with it is you're going to use it in your mud, when you're going to add it to the mud to make cement. But after you're ready, if you're adding on water after you already mixed it, Tanya tit k'dei lasben pikur. It's tit is enough to make pikur. So hasamnami kedamer lefisha ein adam terech u'gavlas tit lasis by pikur. No, we had the same teretz, because meaning a person is not going to be matriach himself to make a whole new grinding just to do the pikur, right? He's never gonna do that. He would only do it for a large amount. So that's why there's 2 different measurements for when you initially do it and then when you just want to add it on. Yeah. So Tashma. There are 3 types of skin. Right? Yeah. So matzah, v'chifa, v'diftera. Okay, that's 3 things. So the Gemara goes matzah kemashmai, right? It's the way it sounds like, which is just plain. It's just plain leather. Yeah. The loy maliach with the loy kamiach, it's got no salt on it. It's got no kemach, no wheat on it, or the loy offits, and it doesn't have any. It wasn't Rashi says it's some sort of nuts you rub on it, right? So it doesn't have anything. So it's plain leather.
Walnuts.
Gall nuts. Okay, but I'm saying Rashi says that you mix it with water and do it, or you no, you just put the. He says with water. I don't remember.
Water.
So as it covers you.
There's two ways: either water or vinegar. But it needs some
And
liquid.
then you, yeah. So basically you're coloring it. That's what it's right. The kamashu, right? And how much is the shear for that? Tani Reb Shmuel bar Rav Yehuda kedei lotzah by mishkalas katana. In order to wrap it around these weights, they used weights to weigh things. The kama, and how much is that? Amar Abaya, the river to pumpadisa. It's a river of pumpadisa, right? So it's a quarter of the weights that they used in pumpadisa. Fine. Chaifa, right? The maliach. So that's a different. Chaifa is a different type of leather. It's salted. V'loy kamiach doesn't have any wheat, v'loy offits, and doesn't have the gall nuts. V'kamashu, right? And what's the shear? Kedetanan or kedei lasses kamiyah. The R is in order to make a kamiyah. Yeah. And what's the third type of leather? Diphthera. So that's maliach. It's salted with kamiyah, and it has wheat on it. V'loy offits, but it doesn't have the gall nuts. V'kamashu kedei lichtav elevas haget. The shear is it has to have enough in order to be chayiv for carrying this animal. It's just a rav needs to have enough to write a get on it. Katani mias, whatever it is, kedei lotzah by mishkalis katana. It's enough to wrap it in weights. River to pumbedisa, and he says that that's talking about a river to pumbedisa, right? So you see that different leathers have different measurements, right? We just got finished saying that they would all have. Hasam b'bishula. No, there it's talking about which it literally means cooked, but it still means that it's still it's not dried out yet. Tanan, we learned in a Mishnah, beged shloisha shloisha lemedris hasak dalet al dalet. Right. So a beged, in order for a beged to be makabel tum, it's 3 by 3 for a medris. Hasak dalet al dalet. Hasak is 4 by 4. Tvachim ha'or hey al hey, and the leather is 5 by 5. Mafetz vav vav, and a mafetz is a mat. A mat is 6 by 6. Bein nerez, bein lemeis. It's whether you're using it for medris or whether it's being used for a mace, meaning not used, but whether it's tamei medris, which means that when you walk on it, right? Or it's whether it's for tumas mace. But tani Allah, we learned on it. Right, that's an interesting tani, right? You notice that tani there. If anybody's holding with us, second line up from the bottom, the tani.
Well, it has an aleph in the middle.
Yes, it has an aleph in there. It's very interesting. I've seen it a couple times, but I don't know what the pshat is. I don't know if that's a typo. I don't know what the deal is there. But tani Allah, we learned on it. Habeged vasak ve'or kishir l'tuma kashir l'tzah. The same that it's a shear for tuma, it's shear for hitzah, right? So you see that there's no exact measurements. Whatever it is you see from all these things, it's a different measurement. So we answer who bekartav Allah. That's talking about skin that's boiled. It's boiled in water, right? So therefore, and then it can only be used to sit on. So since it can only be used to sit on, therefore the measurement is going to be a much larger thing. Now, if the Olam wants to look at the thing I sent out, I don't know if you could find it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I don't know if I have it on this other thing.
Jack, we can do share the screen, I think.
How do I do that?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but how did I get on there?
Eretz did it.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what I did.
Aaron, don't give out the secrets, Aaron.
I'm wondering. I have no idea. Now, how do I get out of this?
You know, you can't. You let me know what you want me to get out, because the last time we had this, it was very unpleasant. Different type of skin.
Oh, I wasn't excited to see that. I guess, yeah, that was, yeah. Anyways, you see that the what this is. So this is from a book. I have to say, B'Shem Vaymer. This is a book. It's a very nice book about all the questions you have to ask when you're looking for tefilin, mezuzas, and all that. So you have the different layers of. It's really the second page is the main one. You have klaf and you have duchsistas, right? Elio Ikovic can explain it all to you. He's a cipher, right? Right. The outer half is called the klaf, meaning the outer skin is a klaf. The inner is called duchsistas, which we don't write tefilin on duchsistas, right? Which we're going to see in our Gemara. But that's basically what's going on. There's two types of skins, and on the bottom he shows that it's really not so negeya nowadays. Elio, is that true? See there?
Yeah, because they grind it. The way that they process things now is much easier than it used to be, like whatever, hundreds of years ago.
So they
the
don't
stuff
just
comes off. Yeah, no, the stuff comes off much easier. So it used to be back in the day, it was very hard to tan the hides very thin to get down to the klaf. So you would have real shilohs left on.
I mean, so they use two different types of skin.
No, I'm saying like the way that they grind down the skin today, they can peel off the layers much easier than it used to be. Like that's why even if
I'm saying so. Is there any shiloh of anybody writing on anything on duchsistas anymore?
Nah, you would have to put more effort into writing on duchsistas than not today.
What is it, Yaakov? It's a different type of a leather?
It's the bottom layer of skin, I guess.
It's
right?
thicker.
That's what it comes out.
It's the layer that's attached to the fat and the meat.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
That's
But
why
there is
all
something
the
else they write on, not just klaf.
no. In the old days, they could have wrote on duchsistas too. That's what this Gemara is all about. Whether they could separate it and whether you can write tefilin, mezuzas, and all that on duchsistas as opposed to just klaf.
Is there something else that they write on that's nicer than klaf?
yeah, the brown stuff. What's it called, Elio?
What's that called?
Gvil.
Gvil. That's
Real,
the one.
right.
Well, yeah.
What is that?
It's different. A lot of it they write on what's it called. I mean, now honestly today the cloth that they use is of such high quality. They use, I mean, you want to get real technical. They use, for the most part, the stuff that they're writing on like baby unborn cows.
Schlil.
So the stuff is much higher quality than they're
Right,
not
it's smoother.
Huh?
Yeah. How many pieces of cloth they get out of one cow?
One.
For like a saver tire. Wow, yeah, they get like one large urea.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
You want me to stop sharing or no?
Yeah, you could stop sharing now. I think I'll ask the Olam. I don't know.
I think I have a link to a video of this. Maybe I'll post to the.
All right. Anyways, okay. So
What
let's
do they
see.
use for the ritzuas?
That's a full piece of leather.
Yeah.
Kidding, I'm making fun of the last time we had this.
That's not scraped. It's just shined
I
on
thought
the
it was
outside.
fake. I thought it was synthetic.
Okay. You always
Some of
gotta
them
bring
are,
up the
unfortunately.
controversies. Always bringing up the controversies. All right. So, anyways,
Only thing I
klaf.
could remember. The other stuff is not,
Right. Okay. So, anyways, the
Go
Gemara
ask mommy
says,
if you want to take the baby.
okay, klaf.
Go ask mommy if.
All right, Naftali, we'll all take the baby. Klaf, they looked over love parsha katana, right? So klaf, how much is it to write a small parsha on it? What's the small parsha? Uraminu, right? So we're gonna ask a steer right away. Klaf b'duchsistas, right? That's what we just saw in the picture. Klaf or duchsistas, they looked over love mezuza. How much do you have to take out? Enough to write a mezuza, right? Now a mezuzah. A full mezuzah has got Shema and V'hayim Shemaya. That's bigger than the smallest parsha, right? So Gemara answers, "My mezuzah Shabbat tefilin." What it means is the mezuzah and tefilin, right? Meaning the part of mezuzah that's in tefilin, right? I mean, it just what? What is it? Okay. Anyway, so that's what it's saying. It doesn't mean it means mezuzah Shabbat tefilin. Yes, and what it says, "V'karlu tefillin mezuzah." Do we call tefillin a mezuzah? Right, obviously meaning the parshas and tefillin are very small. They're smaller than a mezuzah, right? So v'karlu tefillin mezuzah. Do we call tefillin a mezuzah? Yes, v'tanya, and we have a brayso here. V'tanya doesn't mean it's a kasha; it means it's a proof. Ritzuas tefillin in tefillin. When you have the ritzuas attached to the tefillin, matamas is yadayim, then you're going to make the hands tummy. Right, they made a gezerah, if you remember from the Yudches Gezeras, right? That one of the things was that if you touch a klaf, then your hands become tummy, right? And memela, so this shita right now is saying that even if you touch the ritzuas, you're going to become tummy, right? Bifnei atzma, but when they're by themselves without being attached to the tefillin, they will not make the tamei, the hands tamei. Reb Shimon Yehuda, I remember Reb Shimon, tar. If you touch the ritzua, it's tahar, meaning whether it's attached to the tefillin or not. Until you touch the ktsitsa, is the box, the bottom of the tefillin. Reb Zakkai, Mishmaya, Reb Zakkai says tahar mezuza atzma. No, you have to actually touch the klaf that's inside the mezuzah, right? Fine. That's as far as I know, that is the way we pass it. Yeah. So now the Gemara says, "Vamadikatani seifa," but if the seifa says klaf kedei lichta v'la parsha katana shebetfilin, so if the seifa says that how much is a klaf, it's enough to write the smallest parsha in tefillin, she Shema Yisrael. That's Shema Yisrael Mechlal. The Reisha mezuzah atzmos kina must be that the Reisha is talking about a mezuzah, right? How are you saying that the Reisha is also that they're both talking about the same thing? So the answer is Hachi Katani klaf v'duchsistas shiurim bekama. How much is the shear of a klaf and a duchsistas? Duchsistas k'dei lichta v'lo mezuzah. Duchsistas is enough to write a mezuzah on it. Klaf k'dei lichta v'lo parsha katana shebetfilin, and klaf is enough to write the small part of tefillin she Shema Yisrael, which is Shema Yisrael. So basically, what the Gemara is coming out here, that you're writing mezuzah on the duchsistas, and tefillin cannot be written on duchsistas. Tefillin has to actually be written on the klaf, right? And that's why each one duchsistas has mezuzah, and the klaf has tefillin. So now the Gemara goes off and discusses the whole duchsistas with the tefillin. Yeah, Amarav, duchsistas areyka klaf. Duchsistas is the same as klaf, right? Ma klaf koisman of tefillin. Just like you can write klaf, you can write tefillin on klaf. Af duchsistas koisman of tefillin. So you can have tefillin also on duchsistas. Tanan, so we can say, we're going to ask kashas now. Klaf, they lichtei pasha katana shebet tefillin, right? You have klaf. If you carry out klaf, it's the small parsha of tefillin, Shema Yisrael, right? So now here there's a little bit whether we guardus this or not. Rashi's guardus this parentheses. Taisus is not guardus this parentheses. Whatever, we'll go with it. Klaf in duchsistas, so it's mashma that you have a minimum measurement for klaf, but you don't have a minimum measurement for duchsistas. Right? Because meaning if there's a different measurement for duchsistas than there is for klaf, must be that you cannot use duchsistas for klaf. Otherwise, it would have a different measurement. So when it answers the mitzvah, no, it's a mitzvah to have your tefillin written on klaf, but if it's written on duchsistas, then it's not a problem. Toshima, right? So I'm going to ask another kasha. Toshima halacha l'moshe misinai. What's halacha l'moshe misinai? By the way, most of Hilchos tefillin is halacha l'moshe misinai. It doesn't say anything in the Torah about tefillin, as we know. It just says kshartum lo'isei yedecha, v'yulu t'tefos ben enecha. Everything that they should be black and square. Everything that's on halacha l'moshe misinai. Anyway, so the Gemara says halacha l'moshe misinai. Tefillin ala klaf. Tefillin is written on a klaf, and mezuzah ala duchsistas, and the mezuzah is on duchsistas. Klaf b'makom basar, and this was the picture, right? Klaf b'makom basar. If you want to see the picture, I put it onto the chat. Klaf b'makom basar. Klaf is the part that's on the, as Elio said, the klaf is on the part of the flesh side of the skin. And
no, it's the other way. Klaf is higher up. Duchsistas is by the flesh. But it means that you write on the inside of the cut. In other words, the klaf that you cut off from the top.
Yeah, right. So, Elio, you really explained that before, right? Yeah, when you're writing, what I'm saying, when you're writing on it, where's that picture? Yeah, I can't find where's my pictures? Camera?
It's basically, if you think about it.
When you're writing on it, you have to write on the side. The klaf is on the outside, the sus is on the inside, right?
Right. But you're not writing on the hair side.
Correct. You're writing on the opposite side. Correct. Right. Correct. Yeah. So klaf b'makom basar. When you're writing on the klaf, you have to write it on the side that's on. Even though the klaf, it's a little confusing. I just got confused myself here, but that's not a chiddush that I got confused. But I'm saying a klaf b'makom basar. The klaf's on the outside, but you have to write it on the inner side of the klaf.
Eliyahu, isn't that why that some Sefer Torah that you see like the cow side, like the cow pattern on the outside of the Sefer Torah when you do Hagba?
Yeah. So yeah.
I'm all questions go to Eliyahu on this. That's what I assumed. Is that the pshat?
Yes, yeah, because that's the hair side. That's the hair side. It was always like that. Like the old ones, the only reason like you see that now, you don't see that on the old Sefer Torah, is they used to like whitewash the old Sefer Torah.
Is that so? And it cleaned it?
No, it was a big shiloh. There's a lot of like chuvas on it. But if you look, like the old Sefer Torah were like much heavier, and they were also white on the back. Right. So it wasn't like some people think they used different material. They used the same material. They didn't think that the hide patterns look nice, so they used like not a paint, whatever, like a plaster, a whitewash plaster. But there are a lot of chuvas that hold it was usser, so they stopped doing it. But yes, that's the hide side.
This is the hide side.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a full
one over there.
The full urea.
There you go. Why?
That's the hide side.
Right.
That's the writing side with surtut.
And do they have to clean it?
Yeah, it's all cleaned and scraped, and everything's gone.
Say they could have theoretically made the other side look that way too.
No, that would make it too, well, if you make it very, very, very thin.
Yeah, that's what. Isn't that what Eliyahu just said? They used to clean both sides.
No, they used to chalk the other side to make it white. They used to paint it.
Oh, paint it. I mean, that's what you mean whitewash.
Yeah, they used to white. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like a straight paint. They would wash. It was whitewash. I don't know what better way to explain. No, the inside never had a pattern on it.
But you always see black spotches on the back of it.
Yeah, that's the color of the cap.
We need the people that live out of state to tell us exactly what whitewashing their fence means.
I guess Gershon's headed out of state, so Mamela, he could say it.
Anybody read Tom Sawyer? No.
Oh, so that's very good, Gershon. So leave it there a second. Leave it. Put it back in the picture a minute, please, if you don't mind. Right. So basically, that part. That part is the outside. That's the skin side. You have to write it on the other side. That's closer to the flesh.
Right.
Very good. Thank you. I wouldn't have sent out that picture had I known you had a show and tell.
How much does he want for it? How much does he want?
What?
Very good.
This one?
Oh,
what is that?
Beautiful.
Gershon, what is that?
Stunning.
Thank you. Now back to the Daf.
Okay, anyways.
Hold on, let him get at least a plug. What is it? Let's go. How much is it? What are we selling it for? Where can we buy it?
Afterwards.
We could put it on auction. What do you mean? We'll you know?
Yeah. So
$49.50.
Okay, listen, very nice.
Sold.
There you go. Anyways,
it gets more prominence for being
for it.
It gets more prominence for being featured on the Daf.
That's right. On a Zoom COVID Daf, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, duchsistas. So that's the klaf part.
One second. You can't say that. We've been doing Zoom way before
that's
COVID
true.
gave it to the
100%. We are the trendsetters. 100%. 100%. Yep. You guys get the credit. Duchsistas b'makom seir. But the duchsistas, right, goes on the hair side, right? Yeah. So whatever it is, you see from the Brisa that there's two different things. Two different, the duchsistas is for one thing clearly, and klaf is for another. Otherwise, they would have to have the same. So Gemara again says la mitzvah. That's only a mitzvah, but it's not ma'akiv. Meaning you could use it on duchsistas or the klaf, but it's a mitzvah on the klaf. So then the Gemara says v'tanya shina pasal, but it says if you change, right, from doing this and you do one on one or one to the other, or swap it, then it's pasal. So the Gemara answers on mezuza. That's going on the mezuza. If you change by this one and by this one, it's possible. So that means if you did it differently by the klaf, by the tefilin, it's no good. And if you did it differently by mezuzah, it's no good. So when it says no, edi and mezuzah, no, they're both talking about where you messed up on the mezuzah. And one is talking about where you did it on the klaf in the place of the seir, which is you're not supposed to do it. You did it on the hair side, like Gershon just showed. Or he did on the duchsistas on the flesh side when he was really supposed to do it on the hair side. Okay. The Iba is saying, well, you could say in another teretz, Shina b'zeh tanoihi. This whole din, whether Shina, if you change each one of them, is really a machlokas tanoim. The Tanya, Shina b'zeh puzzle. One, the Brisa says if you change the mezuzah or change the tefillin, it's possible. Rabbi Acha machshir b'shum Rabbi Acha b'Rav Chanina. But that's also interesting. Rav Acha says it's kosher in the name of Rav Acha b'Rav Chanina. And some say it was in the name, right? So obviously it's just a machlok. It's not just tam agav. Once we were talking about that tana with an aleph. So here it says, why didn't it say Rav Acha mishum Rav Acha b'Rav Chanina machshir? Right? Here it says he was machshirit in the name of Rav Acha bar Chanina. Right? That's usually the opposite way that the Gemara normally says it. Normally it would say Rav Acha mishum Rav Acha bar Chanina machshir. No? Right? Here it's like he puts the word machshir in the middle and then he says who he's saying in the name of. Okay. I'm just trying to make the daf a little more interesting. Although Gershon bailed us out. He bailed us out. But I'm just saying Rav Papa said Rav Domer Ketana Devei Menashe. Rav goes like the Tana Devei Menashe. The Tana Devei Menashe, if you wrote it on Niyara's paper, right, which is not paper of nowadays, it's just, what do you call it, cloth? What is it called? Was that what they used back then?
Papyrus.
It was a papyrus? Okay, I thought it was like those old svarim. What do they call that? What did they write it on? Something cloth, no?
Reeds.
Are you thinking about
Reeds.
vellum?
I don't know what
reeds or grass. Rashi says
vellum.
reeds or grass.
That's what they use.
That's
Reeds or
papyrus.
grass.
That's what
but
Rashi
that's
says.
right. No, but they
Rashi
used.
papyrus.
There was another
Rashi
way they
says
used.
shalasavim. Rashi clearly says exactly
Right.
what
So,
it is.
yeah. So that papyrus is. I don't know. It's I guess a form of grass. No, but they're not something claw. Okay, whatever it is. Yeah, valamatlis and on a matlis and a cloth. That's psula. That's the one I'm thinking about. Ala klaf, ala gvil, ala duchsistas ksheira. If you wrote it on the klaf or gvil, like Naftali asked about, and on duchsistas, then it's going to be kosher. Yeah, ksavamai, right? So what did he write with this? Ilay mezuza. If you say talking about where he wrote a mezuza klaf mikas vinan, are you allowed to write a mezuza on klaf? Right, that's for sure not. Elalav must be talking about tefillin. It must be talking about writing tefillin, right? So therefore, you see from here that tefillin on duchsistas does work. So Gemara says, but according to you, tefillin on gvil mikas vinan. Do we write tefillin on gvil? Right, we don't write tefillin on gvil. Right, because it's not properly done. I guess the gvil in that time. So right. So the Gemara says, "Elikitani iba sefer Torah." That must be talking about a sefer Torah, right? Fine. Let's say let's prove this, right?
By the way, it would also present a huge problem. If you wrote tefillin on gvil, you would need gigantic bottom. It's very thick. Even if you wrote in small, you would need massive bottom.
I hear. Okay, that's interesting. Even the Chabad guys, even they're big tefillin?
Even bigger than that.
Wow,
Their
okay.
tefillin have small parshas. It's a lot of air in there.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
no, it used to be the parshas were that big. That's why they had big tefillin. They just don't want to change their bottom.
Right. Here. Okay. Let say, might as well make them bigger once you have the big bottom. Okay. Let's say it's a raya. Tefillin shabalu, tefillin that got worn out, the sefer Torah shabalu, and the sefer Torah that got worn out. Ain't mezuzah. You can't make a mezuzah. Meaning, what you would do is you cut out the mezuzah, the parsha mezuzah, shema v'hoya. Because we don't go lower, we don't go down in kedusha, and from a sefer Torah to mezuzah is a step down. Time at my reading. The reason why you're not going to do it, the Gemara is saying, because you don't go down. Hamaridin, oisin. But if you were allowed to go down without this rule of not going down in kedusha, you would think that it would work. So then diksiva amai. So then what was the Torah written on that we're allowing this? Lav diksiva ad duchsistas. Is it not talking about it was on duchsistas? So you see that tefillin can be made into duchsistas. So he's going to lie diksiva al klaf. It was written on klaf. And therefore, there's no raya that you can use duchsistas for tefillin. Mezuza klaf mikas vinan, but can you write mezuzah on klaf? Right. So how could you say that the whole shiloh that we're saying that we even question whether you can downgrade it to mezuzah? So the Gemara says, Yes, it's true. Vatanya ksava lakla. Again, this is not a kasha. Vatanya normally is a kasha. Here it's proving it. Vatanya ksava laklaf al niyav alamatis. If you wrote a mezuza on parchment or niyar paper or on a matas, it's called psula. Pasal Amar Rab Shimon ben Elazar. Rab Shimon says Rameir haya kaisva laklaf. Rameir did write it on a klaf because its klaf is much stronger, right? So therefore, it's going to last a lot longer. Yeah. So now that we say this, Rav Nami like Tamed duchsistas arei klaf. Even according to Rav, we're not going to say duchsistas is klaf, because ela aim klaf arei duchsistas. Let's go the other way and say klaf is like duchsistas. Ma duchsistas kaisvan la mezuza. Just like you can write a mezuza on duchsistas af klaf kaisvan la mezuza. So too on klaf you can write mezuza. So now we changed the whole thing. We changed the whole thing around. Okay. I'm sorry if it was a little bit of a rough daf, but Baruch Hashem, we made it through. Thank you, Gershon and Elio, for your emotional and physical and spiritual support. All right?
Sure.
How's that? Fine. All right. I got to go to Myrav.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Zag is a...
Yassi.
He's gone.
Wow, he was quick on the
That was
trigger.
fast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Yaakov.
All right. Have a good night.
Hey, Ed.
Harris, you still recording?
Yeah, why? Should I stop? I want to make fun of Marchuk. Marchuk, we can all see through your glasses what you're looking at. Cut it out.
What did you say, Alan Boris? I couldn't hear you.
Very good. Very good. Tanta's going to
All
dive
right,
Myra.
10 o'clock. Come on over.
I was on the Daf